It's about that time of year where we all enjoy the chilly months surrounded by warm homes and family gatherings. But for thousands, these winter months mean shivering nights just trying to make it through the night. Homelessness is an issue that negatively affects everyone in the community, not just the individual themselves. You might be thinking how? Well, there are many ways that homelessness affects us all in ways that we might not even realize. For example, when someone lacks a stable home, they naturally experience higher rates of illness and injury, which then leads to more frequent or longer hospital stays. And this not only places a strain on our healthcare system, it also increases medical costs that ultimately taxpayers, hospitals, and insured families will have to pay. According to a study released on September 25 of 2023 by Community Solutions, more than individuals average about 1.6 more visits annually than frequent visitors with housing, and the annual cost for each visitor is about 64,000 a year. Healthcare costs and heavily impacted hospitals are not the only way homelessness indirectly affects us all. As a team, we have witnessed firsthand how homelessness affects individuals, families, and our community. It's for this reason that we felt compelled to do more research on the topic. We spent time researching the causes, impacts, and current statistics surrounding homelessness, and our research led us to discover that the rate of homelessness is at an all-time high. According to statistics found by the National Alliance to End Homelessness, there has been an 18% increase in homelessness in recent years. In 2023, homelessness averaged about 650,000, as seen on the graph here. And in 2024, it's peaked at about 770,000. And it's only estimated to keep increasing in coming years. And as you can see on the graph, there's been a trending increase since 2015. So through these analyses and our findings, it allows us to speak on this issue with an understanding and informed perspective. Homelessness persists because we ignore it, failing to address the barriers that prevent people from accessing things like healthcare, employment affect not only the individual, but everyone around them. It's why our team today came together to organize our program called Strive to Survive and efforts to bring light to the issue. My name is Marleen, and our team consists of myself, Gerardo, Thomas, and Diana. In this speech, we'll cover how individuals end up without a home. Then we'll walk you through the impacts that it has on the environment and community. And lastly, we'll present on our solution to help combat homelessness. So now that we've covered how homelessness is a serious issue, Thomas will explain how people actually end up homeless.
Thank you, Marlene. Now, homelessness can happen to anyone. Rising rents and housing costs is one of the biggest reasons people become homeless. It's simple. Housing has become too expensive. Rent prices continue to rise while wages stay the same. Even in small towns like ours in Kalinga, it's not unusual to see rents in the 2,000 range for a small house or apartment. This is the low end. Many families simply can't keep up. People who once paid $750 for a 3-bedroom home 5 to 7 years ago, myself included, are now being forced out because landlords raise the rent or they decide to sell their property. When owners see the high property values, it becomes tempting to sell their properties, even if long-term tenants are still living there. According to a 2025 report, emphasized the lack of affordable housing in the primary cause of homelessness in the U.S. Evictions and housing instability. After being evicted, it becomes much harder to rent again. A bad rental history follows you and makes landlords less likely to approve your application. Even people who once paid the rent on time for years can suddenly find themselves forced out to move out with little warning. When you add the first month's rent, security deposit, moving expenses, many people simply can't afford to start over again. This is how families with jobs end up sleeping in cars and hotels and shelters. Job loss and lack of savings. Homelessness often begins with job loss. If someone doesn't have enough savings, just one missed paycheck can begin a chain reaction where bills pile up. Rent becomes late and evictions come quickly. A lack of stable income and job loss is a common pathway into homelessness, according to the National Homelessness Fact Sheet of 2024, USICH of 2025. A single accident, a layoff, or medical issue can be the difference between having a home and losing everything. Most Americans are only 1 to 2 missed paychecks away from financial crisis. Many mental health challenges is also another issue. Uh, Homelessness is not just about money. Many people struggle with mental health issues that make it hard to keep a job or manage daily responsibilities. Without treatment or support, people with anxiety, depression, post traumatic stress disorder, and other mental health challenges often fall through the cracks of our system. Once they lose their home, it becomes even harder to recover. Another another thing that affects homelessness is substance abuse as a factor. Some people also struggle with substance abuse, which can make it difficult to keep a job, pay their rent, or maintain stable relationships. In many cases, addiction does not just begin as a choice, but develops from stress, trauma, or mental illness or injury. Once someone becomes dependent on drugs and alcohol, maintaining housing becomes extremely hard and difficult to maintain. Uh, Housing becomes even harder and harder without treatment or support. Research shows that substance abuse and homelessness often happen together, but addiction is usually a result of a much deeper problem rather than the original cause, according to the National Institute of Drug Abuse of 2023. Now that we understand how homelessness occurs, our next speaker will explain how it affects our communities. Gerardo.
First, we need to understand how big this problem truly is. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Development, the most recent official court found more than 181,000 people experienced homeless in California, which is nearly one-third of the entire nation's homeless population. When the new data is released this year, experts expect it to be closer to 200,000, and that's a lot if you think about it. Now, homeless has a major impact on the community. When a large number of people are living in the streets, it creates a safety concern for both unhoused host individuals and the surrounding neighborhoods as well. Many people, sorry, many homeless individuals don't have access to bathrooms, showers, or even healthcare, which can create a health risk for the whole entire community. Cities are also they also have more resources for cleaning up and shelters and emergency service like police, firefighters, and medical care workers that get called out because of this. All of these all of this puts a lot of pressure on the community, and not just that, on our local services as well. A community report on homelessness explains that this isn't just someone else's issue. It creates a rapid effect, and in all honesty, it affects the whole community. Um, the crimes, the safety, the workforce, and believe it or not, all of this comes from our tax dollars. The report also says that breaking a cycle of a homelessness benefits everyone in the long run, one person and one family at a time. This means that every single resident, whether you realize it or not, it's affecting us because of this homelessness. Next, homelessness is a significant economy impact. Cities spend billions and billions of dollars every year on emergency room visits, temporary shelters, public services, and someone when someone is homeless, they often rely on the medical care because they don't have the access to regular healthcare like we all do. Emergency room visits cost much more than normal doctor appointments, and taxpayers end up paying the difference. A study shows that National Alliance and Homelessness found that homelessness can cost cities up to 2 or 3 times more than providing a stable house housing and support services. So even if someone never personally interacts with a homeless person, these individuals they still it still affects them through their tax dollars that are spent, and how the community budget is spent as well. Finally, we have to look at the human impact. Homelessness isn't just a financial issue or a community issue. It's a human issue. People experiencing homelessness faces challenges that most of us cannot imagine. Without food and safety and a stable place to sleep, it becomes an extremely hard place to be in, and they can't find a job, they can't take of their health, they can't take care of their health, and they can't plan for their future. Many people who are homeless want the help, but they just don't have the access to find a job, the support, or the resources that they need to get back on their feet. And something that this is something that we don't talk about, and something that it needs to be brought up more. Most Americans are just one step away from being homeless, whether it's losing a job, facing an unexpected medical bills, or experiencing something as small as even a family breakup. Homeless can happen to anybody, and if it can happen to anybody, and it comes at the wrong time as well. To wrap up my part, homeless affects everyone in many ways than we realize. It affects our community, our resources, our tax dollars, our public safety, and the economy. And most importantly, these are real humans who are going through a hard time. Now that we understand how serious and widespread this issue is, the next step is to look at what we can actually do about it. So let's move on to the conclusion. Sorry,
So
research
our
on the
part
on
of
the on
the
on
next
homelessness
part is
and
our
making our community
solution.
stronger.
Huh? So our next part is our solution. And part of our solution that we are implementing is a good hygiene system. Because oftentimes we think homelessness is only a housing issue, but it's something as simple as a shower or clean clothes can make a huge difference in the lives of many individuals. So we are implementing things like mobile showers and hygiene centers. So similar to a food drive that's available a few times a week, our showers and hygiene centers would be available where individuals can come and use the shower or pick out clean clothing. And things like this would help prevent infections, illnesses, and skin diseases. Um, in fact, many people experiencing homelessness are suffering from preventable health conditions that can be avoided with proper access to hygiene. According to information found on a website called Simply the Basic, a 2016 survey found that about 67% of people experiencing homelessness reported that they had one or more preventable health conditions, and 34% reported that their health made it difficult to keep a job or do daily activities because of their lack of hygiene. So things like this could really help someone also gain access to employment and housing opportunities. Thomas is going to share a picture right now that can show you kind of the before and after of the appearance of someone that is likely to get a job versus someone who probably wouldn't be offered a job based on their appearance. So as you can see here, this is kind of what we're thinking of before and after. Appearances are everything. And so first impressions when meeting potential employers or case managers are really important. So now that we've seen our first part of our solution that's helping them look presentable, the next part is helping them find a job.
When a person looks better, they feel better. Confidence is boosted as they feel that they are doing their part to fulfill and comply with the expectable social norm of looking presentable. In an article found in the National Library of Medicine, researchers recognize the importance of body image satisfaction as it enhances their overall psychological resilience, contributing to their mental health. So at the job center is going to consist of not only taking your job experience into consideration, but also providing resources for job finding, self-help classes such as building communication skills, counseling to help overcome life's obstacles, and rehab options if needed. Overall, a wide variety of assistance is offered with well-trained staff that are ready to give their all to help with short and long-term goals.
Job searching programs and house assisting. One of the best ways to reduce homelessness is by giving people the support to find a job. A job search program where it helps people make a resume, practice their interviews, learn new skills, and connect with the employees as well. At the same time, housing assistance gives people the same place to live while they work and get back on their feet. When someone has a stable place to stay, and it helps them find a job, they have much more better chances to turn their life around and be independent again. Putting job programs and house support together creates solutions that usually last and make the whole community stronger. All right, now that we talked about the main points, we're going to bring everything together into our conclusion.
In an article titled Dynamics of Homelessness found in the National Library of Medicine, studies showed low income, changing economy, and mental illness as the three main contributing factors of homelessness. Now let's go over our facts, our outcomes, and our proposal. We started off with the vulnerability of economical factors that are out of our control, such as losing a job, increasing in rent, substance abuse, health problems, and mental illnesses. We then moved into the impact on our community, such as the environment children are left to grow around, taxpayer money being used to provide this extra care, and overall the state of these people that they find themselves in. No human deserves to live that way. We covered our opportunities at Strive to Survive, which we offer a number of different options to help a person be successful from start to finish with step-by-step guidance. Homelessness persists because we ignore it, failing to address the barriers that prevent people from accessing stable housing, healthcare, and employment opportunities. Not only do the individuals suffer, but we suffer also because of it. It is why our team today is bringing light to this issue. Homelessness can affect anyone, and unfortunately, in this unstable economy we live in, we all find ourselves vulnerable to this position. In a recent survey posted in USA Today, 57% of Americans were found to be living paycheck to paycheck, so that leaves over half of Americans vulnerable to homelessness over one crisis. Every homeless person out there is a child to somebody, is a parent to somebody, and can be a significant other to somebody. Living day by day, struggling to live day to day, not knowing when their next warm meal or bed will be. Strive to Survive focuses on the basic necessities first, building confidence to face life and its obstacles with a positive perspective, leading to job stability, temporary housing, and smooth transitions into permanent housing. Every step of the way, Strive to Survive is there to provide love and comfort. Thank you.
You can end the meeting, Tom.